I usually don't speak so linear and I often go off the topic, so please forgive me for being ununderstandable, and I hope I will manage to answer your questions. And today it's like freaking hot here, and I had to close windows because it's gonna get really loud from outside. So, pardon for my sweat. And yeah, beside of that, today I have also a giveaway for you guys, and I'm happy to give it to you, this surprise giveaway, because most likely only subscribers are watching this video, and obviously I want to give a little gift for one of you. So anyways, to the topic. I'll try to answer all the questions. So question number 1. What are your major creative influences? And that's, I think it's a little bit difficult question for me because I never had my top favorite artists or whatsoever, because there are just so many influences or inspirations out there that I couldn't put it in my top ones. I never was able really to do it because I think sometimes it's just the scene that is really inspiring from a film, or sometimes it's the story of a friend, sometimes just a very random things that can be creatively really influencing and inspiring. Obviously, it's films, a little bit a part of them, but I think like when it comes to YouTube, I think the time when I wanted to start YouTube, but I still didn't know what direction I want to go, and I was still far away from starting it. I think that Johnny Harris, he inspired me. Obviously, our style is very different, but in the first video that I released about migration, you can see that there is some copy going on. Not copy, but inspiration. Like, I think I really liked the quality of documentation he provided. I really loved his production, and I still love it, but he's not anymore my major influence, I think, on YouTube, if I would say. But definitely he was one of those people who showed me like how great some people make YouTube videos, how much effort they put into that. But that goes more towards like the factual documentary side of me when it comes to creative, and today's channel that I have is, I think, Gox. I think like with the first times I watched his videos, I was just like, oh my god, this guy puts so much effort and so much time and creativity into his videos. They don't look like YouTube videos, they look like films. And to me, that was aha point, understanding that this is what I really want to do. And I understood how much time I need to put an effort into outcome that I want to achieve. And because I was, since I was a child, aspiring filmmaker that I never become, and I never really tried to become, unfortunately. I just studied films, but my last project and my last film was my final year project, which is the first video on YouTube, if you watch it, about Myanmar. But then I never went for it for many different reasons. For how many years? 14 years or something? 13, 12? I don't know. Around that. And then when I started YouTube, I also didn't think about becoming a filmmaker. I just never had confidence in me about it, and a lot of different reasons. Anyways, when I watch Cox's videos, to me, it's waking up in me this feeling, this wish as I was a child of making films. And he showed that you can make them on YouTube. Obviously, you can make them on YouTube. But to me, I was never familiar to this quality of content. And he was a huge inspiration for me, and it still is. I mean, more like in a way, of course, I do get some ideas from him, but also like inspiration of going and seeking inspiration from actual films, if it makes sense what I said. Yeah. Second question, what do you when did you start YouTube and realize it was something you wanted to continue? So I dream of starting YouTube since many, many years, like at least 10 years or something, since I moved to Berlin, I think. And yeah, like I dreamed about it. I never dared to do it because I felt like not daring. There were a lot of different reasons why I didn't start it earlier. So I started a year and a half ago, and then I just committed to it because it's been like such a long dream that I just said, like, I was just sick and tired of myself promising that. And I just did it. And I just committed to doing that consistently for a while to really see if this is what I want to do. But I had to like kind of force myself into, no matter what, doing that without having any idea, any style, any like niche or niche, whatever, however you say it. I always forget it. Without strategy and all of these things that people say, oh, if you want to be a successful YouTuber, you have to do this and that and that and that. Please, the algorithm and so on. I mean, obviously, I check out those things, but I started without any plan, without knowing where I want to go or what I want to say, how I want to present myself, and whatever. So about a year ago, last autumn, I started feeling it, that YouTube is something where I want to focus, and this is what is giving me so much fun and excitement, that since I was a child, I never felt this feeling of presence while doing something. It feels like a play. And it was a time that I started developing my style, understanding which direction I want to go, that I want to put more effort, that I want to make it more like as a little short films, that I want to open myself up. I want to get vulnerable and put a lot of work into it. And to also believe in myself that I can level up myself in a way of that I can be aspiring filmmaker on YouTube, or in generally filmmaker. And I'm not saying I'm there, but I allowed myself to reach that, to go for it. So when I did that and I started finding my ways, I started having this endless fun, and I didn't even care if people watch it or not. The process is what's giving me till today a bliss, a meaning to my life. It sounds really big, but it really is. And obviously when my channel started growing bigger and there are more and more subscribers joining it, and people giving me feedback, I was just really amazed, because I never really thought about it, that people will like what I do, and doing what I love and others appreciating that. It feels really insane. Like I just never experienced that in my life. So that was around the time when I realized YouTube is where I definitely want to focus my effort and time. And not want, I have to, because I love it. So next question, are you German? No, I'm not German, but I live in Berlin since 9 years. 9 years, it will be 9 years. Okay. When will you release a video about ADHD? I don't know. Sorry for not knowing, but I definitely want to do a video someday. But I think like usually when I make videos, I am doing videos about things that are somehow present in my life, or just topics that I do want to talk about in that moment. So I'm not really sure when that time comes to ADHD. And also, to me, ADHD is still kind of a new thing that I was diagnosed not so long ago. And I feel I need more time to digest that. Also learn a little bit more about it. I don't want to just I don't know. I feel like I'm not ready for it, but definitely it's gonna come out. And I'm sorry for not giving a proper answer. Do you work full-time as a creator? I'm evaluating career paths, and I noticed that I might have a thing for screenplay writing, but it's scary to try to an artsy career. Do you live off your work with art, or plan on making it happen? I can totally agree. It is scary at the beginning. So, first of all, I'm not living out of it, for sure not. But I'm in my best period of my life, definitely in my career. And it's not perfect, but it is kind of, in a way, because I'm just like, as I said, in my best. And I try not to think about how it could be, but I see that I've never been so happy as I am right now. So I am earning a bit from freelance video editing, also a tiny bit from YouTube, and also partly I work at the restaurant of my boyfriend. So I am a little bit like, I would say I could live out of creative work if I was taking every sponsorship, if I was quitting everything else and just focusing on YouTube. I think if I would start posting, very consistently every 2 weeks, this is what a lot of people say, this is when your channel really starts growing really rapidly, because obviously YouTube wants you and a creator to upload more. But that's not really, I don't feel like doing it yet. Not because I don't want that, but I feel like I just don't want to put too much pressure on myself. And also I don't want to decrease quality of videos that I'm making. So anyways, I'm not living out of it. And I think that's courage, or that's I don't know, I think it comes with time, maybe from my little experience that I have. So I quit my job last year and I started focusing. I did take a risk for a while to try to look for freelance jobs and expand my YouTube channel. And I did achieve much more than I imagined. But to go for that, first of all, for 1 year, I was having almost a full-time job and also doing YouTube videos on side. So it was a lot of work. 1 year was really tough. But then in that year, I realized, okay, this is for me. So I knew that already. I knew that it's my passion. I knew I want to go that direction. So it was much easier to quit my job and commit to something. And the second thing that made it easier, I already knew that I will have financial stability for at least half a year. So when I prepared myself financially, I knew that, okay, what is the risk? I'm just going to lose all of my savings. I'm going to get broke. And worst case scenario, I'm going to have to find a job that I don't like or whatever. But yeah, somehow I think if you try to, just my opinion, if you try screenplay and you see you can't live without it, those risks are not going to be so scary. And I think people after many years, if they do what they love, if they put a lot of effort in what they love, like artists, and if they take right steps for growth, I think eventually you succeed and you have your client base, and it's not that risky anymore. Because for what I know, professionals that are doing their job great, they never have to apply for jobs. They always have clients coming to them. So, But again, I don't have so much experience to really talk about it, I think. So next question, what kind of gear do you use and how do you plan your shots, camera angles, framing, and setup? Cheers from Brazil. So, yeah, I think sorry, it's so warm here today. I think, so basically, I just upgraded my camera gear, like my camera and my microphone as well. I had before Panasonic GH5S, and now I have Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. And then I used before a podcast mic for voiceovers. I mean, I still use it. Blue Yeti, like the cheapest semi-professional mic I think you can get. And then I use also on camera shotgun mic. That was Rode's Video Mic Pro, and I just upgraded to Sennheiser 416. I got it used for a really good price as well as camera. And I'm just really excited to start making videos. This video is not very creative, obviously, but as soon as I get time after my vacation, I'm really excited to learn using this new equipment. But in generally, besides of cameras and microphones, to which basically camera, and microphones, that's the only things that I really invest a little bit more time, money. I mean, for money that is available for me. And besides of that, I have a lot of equipment such like lights and slider, C-stand. What else? Like MD filters, quite basic equipment really. And all the secondary equipment, I say secondary, is like usually the cheaper priced equipment that I got online when there are promotions. I could make a video about it someday if anyone is interested. I mean, I'm sure you are interested, but like if there are more people interested, of course, I'm glad to share about it. And then how I plan my shots. So since I started putting more effort into storyboarding, I think that my videos started getting, in my opinion, better and more dynamic and more like tick, 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 tick. Like, yeah, I underestimated the power of storyboarding before. I was just like, but I have everything in my mind anyways. I have a script. Why would I need to like draw little like images about how I'm gonna do everything? But it changes storytelling completely, really. And I don't do like a proper drawings. I don't do like proper storyboarding. I do it for myself because I work only alone. But I do pre-plan the shots. I think how shots change from one to another, where the camera gonna stand. If there's something special that I need to do, like fix the camera somewhere high up, I write it down. I try to prepare it as much as possible before I shoot it. Basically have the shots list, like one after another. I don't do any more spontaneous kind of shoots. Of course, it happens spontaneously that when I'm shooting, I think like, oh, maybe it's nicer to have camera there, or maybe it's nicer to have camera moving. But usually in pre-production storyboarding, I already have it. Maybe I can show you actually. So like basically they look more or less like this. So basically, I just put like I draw stickman and a little bit like, okay, this is a close up and eyes. There's what's gonna happen. I do a little bit of description, and basically there's a camera movement or not. And sometimes I write a few words so I know a bit more better in which part of the script those shots belong. So that's kind of it. And then before I shoot, I usually have a list for each day, or like, I can't find it now. This is a new notebook actually. It's still like very decent. But like, well, I can't have it, but then I make also a schedule of, I don't have it, but I also make a schedule of each day of shoot and what exactly I'm gonna shoot. And then for each shoot, I put exactly the list of shots I need. So it goes quicker and faster and better, and then I have everything what I need for editing. So it's exciting. I can also make a video about it someday and explain it a bit more in detail. Yeah. Another question is, I think it's a bit, is marriage more important than money? If you have to choose between them, when it's too late to get married and have kids, can someone get more creative if he's in a relationship? That's also a quite interesting question. So basically, if I had to choose between marriage and money, I would choose, of course, money, because I'm kind of married. So I don't really have to choose because I already have it. And if we had money, we could buy a little land, nature on the beach. So it would be amazing, really. And I'm kind of married, so I'm not married in a very traditional way. And because that's something not necessary for me, I never seen myself really getting married like on a paper or in the church. If there was a benefit of that, I would do it, but like benefit if me and my partner would have to like have visa problems or stuff, you know. But in the end, like, we don't have these kind of reasons, so I don't see a reason to get married like in an official way. But if you talk about love and money, so obviously I choose love because I'd rather be homeless and with my partner than rich and without him. Anyways, can someone get more, and the age of getting married and having kids, I don't know, like, this is a very personal thing. I don't think there's an answer. Like, really, everyone finds their time. I think it's much more important to find the right person than the time, because sometimes, obviously, things not happening in the way that we wanted. And yeah, I really don't think there's an answer for it. But can someone get more creative easier in a relationship? This, I would say, for me, what happened, that I think a stable relationship, happy and stable relationship, not love, not marriage, but stability in relationship, has helped me to actually focus on my creative work. I wasn't distracted by fights, by dating with weirdos, and I don't know, like, or having problems in a relationship and solving them, or having a super attached boyfriend who just can't spend time alone. All these things. I mean, I'm not saying it's something wrong, but this is not what I like. So by being in a relationship that fulfills me, it gives me like a lot of energy and space in my brain to actually take up creative work. I just have I have much more energy, I have support, I just happy. But again, if you're in a relationship where you're not happy and your partner is not bringing you up but putting you down, or maybe it's not your partner, just the dynamics in your relationship, then obviously I don't think it's really helpful for creativity. Maybe in the long run, in the future, it will be, because it's going to be your inspiration, this difficult experience. But again, everyone is different. For some people, maybe it does bring creativity. So I don't know. So I'm always a bit scared that I'm out of focus. And maybe I am out of focus the whole video. I'm so sorry if that is, because it's the first time I'm literally using this camera. So anyways, it's also not so easy to film yourself. Filming others is much easier. Anyways, do you think that we humans are losing our sense of responsibility and work ethics with the technology, AI, and phones? Are we going the wrong way? I'm your great fan. I hope you hit 100K soon. Thank you. It's an interesting question. Like, I don't know really. You know, it's... Some people, they are thriving with phones and AI, and only they know that, really. And some people don't. And I think maybe the reasons why phones or digital media or AI is making some people irresponsible or feeling unwell is a much deeper reasons. And maybe if it's not phone, it would be something else. And I think like work ethics, even before AI, in the places where work ethics anyways are not good, they are not going to be good, you know. But I mean that people with bad work ethics, they're going to be with bad work ethics with or without AI, I think. And I think that technology does bring a lot of great things into our societies and the world, and connection to each other. It's just like how we use it, really. Like, I think like this whole development of technology was so rapid that the world haven't had time to really adapt to it. And I think as humans, I tend to be afraid of things that we don't really understand or we don't know, or things like we were afraid of trains and stuff when they were invented. And so I think it's very natural to be also uncomfortable with the whole technological development in recent years, especially with AI and stuff. But I guess only in the future gonna show us how if it's going the wrong way or not. I mean, I think a lot of things in the world in a way going in a really wrong way, and it's just, I don't know about you, but every time I watch news, I just feel extremely, really low and sad to know how many messed up things going on in the world, and just feels so negative and so horrific that it feels that there's no hope for humanity. But at the same time, like, the brutality and dishonesty, irresponsibility has been a part of humanity since we are on this planet. And maybe we are somehow like getting better in a way. We're not really learning from mistakes, but getting better, maybe. I don't know. It's a really difficult question, but also really interesting. And I think that with or without AI, there are people who are not having work ethics or responsibility anyways. People who don't have it, they will always find a way how to abuse others. So with or without AI. And let's see what AI is gonna bring. I really have no idea. Would you recommend starting a club or doing an internship to practice video skills and opportunities to see where you can take those skills? I think internship is a really good idea. Like, especially if you have no experience in filmmaking, I would definitely like suggest that, like something that I regret of not doing, because now I have a little bit of experience and nobody wants to give me internships, but also not jobs. So it's kind of like, I wish I had time to develop a bit more contacts. I mean, I still can do it, but I'm also, well, it depends, of your personality, because if you're an introvert like me, I think YouTube, it's a really great platform to develop your skills and to put effort into it and to get comfortable with the feedback from people, because obviously there are so many people who going to respond very positively but also very negatively to your content. And it's somehow a really great place to go on your own pace and be very independent, to develop your style and develop your skills. Literally, you don't need anything else. Like, YouTube is enough. But if you're more extroverted, you do want to work on film sets, be hired, go for internship, of course. I don't think there's a wrong way. The most important thing is to just do it. Like, in one way or the other way, go for it, learn the skills in whatever way you want to learn, and see what fits your personality better and your future goals, I think. But it's really good to connect to people. I wish I was more extrovert to do that. Someday I will. Another question. You seem very interested and reflective about your own mental health, psychology, and life in general. How did you get to that point? Any particular events that gave you those insights? So, yeah, I think that like, well, first of all, like, I did struggle, or I still do, but not anymore so badly as I used to. I had very long-lasting depression a few years ago, and then just a lot of struggles, mental struggles, and it was not such an easy recovery. Honestly, it was really difficult recovery, and only recent couple of years that I feel much better. So I went through a lot of years of therapy, but also trying to understand ways what helps me. I put a lot of work. I didn't want to give up, and I did believe that there is a way of having more healthy life. And there were times I didn't believe, but then people around me forced me to believe it. Not force me, but they pushed me to do things that would actually, with time, help me to believe in that. And yeah, I think this interest comes, honestly, like, when I wanted to start YouTube channel, as I said, I didn't have an idea what I'm gonna do. Like, I had no, like, people say, do about in what you are an expert. Like, do a channel about your expertise. And I was like, well, I don't have any expertise. My expertise the past few years, like a big chunk of the time, I was jobless because of depression. And so my expertise basically is depression. And so I was thinking about that back then, but then to start the channel and talk about mental health, for me it was a way too big story, because big step, because I was really afraid of what other people say, and just opening up, and also friends and other people in my life knowing about my personal stuff. It was not easy, so I didn't really think of doing that. But then somehow with time, I started feeling more comfortable. And then when I started getting more and more feedback about people relating to my experiences, and some people saying that it really helps the videos that I make about the views of my life, or I don't know, some sort of lessons, or I don't know, the stories that I share, that's just, oh God, I'm getting sensitive. I don't know why. I never thought I would be crying. I mean, I'm not crying yet, but it was just like really touching, because I never ever thought that, I can't believe that I want to cry. Anyway, that's nothing wrong about crying, right? I just never thought in my life that this bad experience, bad because I don't believe anything black and white anyways, but this very difficult years of my life will bring so much positive into my life right now. So getting like some people saying that those videos and those perspectives and those things that I learn are helping them, feels that it all makes sense right now, and I feel really happy to share it. And whew, that's getting hot. And I think in generally, sometimes I feel a bit like, not like an alien, but something like, sometimes I have these moments of being, wow, like being on this planet Earth is crazy. Where are we? The universe, the humans, our mind, how does that work? All these brain parts and the connections, everything. It's very like fascinating for me, and it's definitely kind of a hobby for me to read about those kind of things and learn about basically human experience on this world. I think it's just fascinating. You mentioned you are Lithuanian. Is it important to you, to your sense of self? If you can tell, if so, can you tell us why? So I do mention that I'm Lithuanian because is it important? Like, I do miss my country, and I do have sometimes this feeling of missing home, you know, like having this homesickness and so on. I am not really patriotic, how do you say it? But I love the country where I've come from. I love my home, and I miss it. And sometimes maybe I say it because, yeah, it comes from my heart, I guess. And sometimes like people think that I'm from somewhere else. And there's another thing, like this kind of, I don't know if it exists. And maybe now I'm just like creating things up. But at least for me, it has been like, you know, I travel quite a lot, and I lived in different countries. And often when I said, oh, I'm from Lithuania, people will be like, what? Like, what? Where is this city? Is it from, where is it? Is it in Europe? Is it from South America? It's like, what? Sorry, people, like, it's fine. Not many people know Lithuania. I don't expect that. But I have this feeling like, as a person from a really small unknown country, that I want somehow that my country is known. I don't think that I'm making my country known, but I just this feeling. I don't want to leave my country to be forgotten. My little beautiful Lithuania. So, anyways, I don't know how much it has to my identity, but I just the only thing that comes to my mind that I miss it and I love it, my home country and where I come from. Another question, what gives you positive energy and how do you rest, charge your battery? What gives me positive energy? I think sometimes it gives like literally getting serious and putting positive thoughts in my mind. It's like nothing so romantic. Like, yeah, sometimes it just, yeah, like, I mean, the negative thoughts can get really overwhelming and they start feeling like truth. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, everything is going bad, blah, blah, blah. But then sometimes I try to pause and remind myself that these are my thoughts trying to kind of lie to me and I'm letting them to thrive. So I have to start like changing my perspective on things. And sometimes helps to talk with my boyfriend, for example, that, hey, I have all of these thoughts, give me some positive thoughts, positive energy, and he does. Or taking a nap, actually, it really helps. I really like taking naps if it's possible, not so often as possible. Having a really good meal, spending time with loved ones, being in nature always. That like charges my battery till 100%, like all the time. Whenever I'm in doubt, I should go to the nature and it always gives me good energy. Besides of that, how do I rest? When I really feel low, I try to rest really. The most importantly, try not to get too much into my handy and computer, like handy, sorry, phone, like you say in German, handy. And just not try to distract myself from that low feeling. Rather, I would just sleep or just lay down and look at the ceiling because eventually I will start doing something because it'll get too boring. But I feel like this kind of resting always like recharges me really quickly. And if I rest with my phone, which is I'm not trying to devilize it, I don't know if this is a word. Sometimes I just get even more low. Like if I start scrolling things or reading too much about things that I don't really have to read at that moment. I don't know. Also, I think positive energy, I don't know, like it's hard to define it, I guess. But sometimes when I feel really low and I don't have the energy to make videos, something that I really love doing, but then I feel still like, I don't know, I have bad feelings or I feel like, oh, I can't do it well, oh, I don't have good energy, blah, blah, blah. And what really helps me is just doing that anyways and not setting myself any kind of a goal. I just know that it's gonna make me feel good. So I just try to just like switch off that, thoughts, like, okay, go away. Okay, I feel stressed. I had these goals for today to film. My energy is low. Maybe I'm just gonna do whatever I can. And then when I do it, every time I just feel great, or much, much better. So I feel like, yeah, that's a little bit away what helps me. Okay, another question from Lithuanian. What were the things that help you unlearn perfectionism and foster a more genuine connection to yourself, with yourself? So I haven't unlearned perfectionism, and I think like it's nothing bad to be a perfectionist. I think it's a really good thing also to be perfectionist, as long as it doesn't, start controlling us. Like, I don't think there is something bad about it. Like, if you're perfectionist, it's just like you can definitely make the best outcome of what you're doing. But when you can't release the outcome or you can't achieve the outcome or you can't just finalize something because of your perfectionism, obviously, that's nothing good about that. And I lived with that for a long time. I guess you can't be perfectionist maybe in every area of your life. And maybe if you are, I don't even know what do you do about it. But like for me, I think it was usually yeah, like especially about work and then videos, like it was, yeah, it sucks to be perfectionism at some times, because obviously when I started making videos, I wasn't that good. I had some theory, but I didn't have experience. And before I started making videos for YouTube, I did a lot of videos that I never released because I couldn't finish them, because I always thought, oh, I just can't speak in front of a camera, the sound is off, the editing is bad, everything is shit. Obviously, and it's gonna be like that when we start something. And it just like, I don't know, just from my experience, I had to like go over that, and there was just really nothing, no kind of like exercise, no nothing that helped me to go over it, except for publishing videos that I'm doing and just being okay that they're not as good as I wish them to be. And being just, it's not easy, but in the beginning you just have to like fight with these negative thoughts and just like try to ignore it, be rational about that they will calm down eventually. And they do calm down eventually. And it's just such a relief. From my side, I just feel so happy that I'm getting over it. And now I start seeing more positive side of this perfectionist side of me. And I want to keep it. But I never want to be kept away from everything, because I have these super high expectations from me to be really good in something doing, even if I don't know how things work. Like, you know, so basically by doing, yeah. And then foster more genuine connection with yourself. That's something that I think, at least I'm not aware of a way how to do it. I think what's connected with myself with myself better, is, it's not something that I decided to do. It's something that I guess when I had bad times, basically, and when I had to like drag myself out of destructive lifestyles and depression, then I had to learn how to be a friend of myself. Like there was no way of living in that self-hate and in ignorance and so on. So it was kind of like, I either do that or not. And that process, years-long process, somehow I think was a great way of developing that connection. But also I think every time I did something alone, something that was challenging, has also helped me a lot to get to know myself better and to trust myself and to connect to myself. Like going alone off trip, or yeah, like spending time alone, but not like at home doing nothing, maybe as well, but like, I don't know, going off for a walking trip for a few weeks alone in nature and relying on myself. That has helped me a lot to just build that connection, you know, as if you were going with a friend for a long trip. You know that this friendship is going to get stronger, or it's gonna break. So, but with yourself, we can't break the friendship. I mean, we can, but that's not a life you want to live. So we need to like work on that. And I think like being alone without distraction, at least for me, that helps me to do that. When did you manage to get your fluent English? How much time did it take you to reach that point, and what purpose did you have for learning it in the first place? Can you share some methods that were particularly helpful in this matter? I'm Russian and I have been learning English for 1 year at this moment. My level is I'm able to understand you freely. I learned English when I left school because I went right away to study abroad. So studies were in English. And at that time, my English wasn't really good. Like, I could understand really well. I could write because I could take my time in writing. Speaking was a really difficult part. Like, I really struggled with it. So I would say I speak 3 different foreign languages right now. And I think the best way is just finding a purpose of learning the language. If it's just, oh, I like how it sounds, oh, I think it's gonna benefit my life, maybe it's not that, I mean, for some people, maybe that's enough. For me, I always have to push myself into that situation where I have to learn the language. So, and then it just gets easier, like, or finding a job, starting studying, using it. I'm not very good language learner in the classes. I will be like the worst. But I think speaking really, really helps. Just using it, I guess. Studying with it, finding a job, or finding a friend who speaks only that language and talking to them. When is your birthday? November 26, 1992. Random question. Thinking towards the life you're gonna have, what do you think will your best year? I think mine is 29. I really have no idea. Like, I have no feeling or intuition which year it's gonna be the best of my life. But I do want to live long and healthy life. So I think it would be pretty awesome to go to my 100th birthday on a horse, ride on a horse at the beach, to the party, and dance there a little bit, have fun, and then go home and think, wow, that has been pretty good 100 years. So, favorite thing on the world. Favorite thing on the world is the planet Earth, because I love nature, like nature itself, the planet, like the world. It's crazy, like how everything is in this universe, in this planet, on this, how everything works together, interrelated, like the earth, nature. I don't know how to say it. It's just like, I think it's my favorite thing. So next question. Is being a content creator on YouTube enough to allow you to live comfortably? If not, what else do you do for a living? I mean, it depends on your stage, but I think it's not that difficult, and depends where you live. You know, like if you live in Germany and you're earning here, maybe it's not gonna be so quickly so easy to live out of it comfortably, because living costs here are really high. But then if you're living somewhere else in the world where living costs are not so high in generally, like compared to other world countries in the world, then maybe it's gonna be much faster. But I would say that I'm really surprised how fast you can get like monetized. I mean, to me it was kind of fast, like a bit more than 1 year, and I still haven't got so much money out of it. But because it hasn't been so much time passed since then, but it is few €100, and then I got a few sponsorships and also partnerships. And besides of that, I am working as a freelance video editor. I do a little bit of projects there, and I also work at the restaurant of my boyfriend at Rubens Arepas. So if you're in Berlin, come by to eat delicious Venezuelan food. And yeah, since we are on this topic, I could earn definitely more from YouTube, but I just don't want to make it all about money. I do want to keep the quality, and I do want to get sponsorships, and I do want to collaborate or be in partnerships only with the brands that I really like, and I would use their services, or I am using their services, and just that I would recommend to my friends anyways without being paid. And I think this is like my value, and I want to stick to that, because I do get like offers of sponsorships at least once a week. But yeah, I just don't want to get too random and all about money and start like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong about that, but it's just not how I imagine my channel to be. And since we are about this topic right now, let's come into the giveaway part, because one of my partners, MusicBed, and had a big release a few days ago. And MusicBed is a music licensing platform for filmmakers. The music that they are providing, and this is in my words, is a really good quality. It's a music, that it's from a film. It's a music that you would listen anyways. It's a music that, like in other platforms, sometimes I haven't found like this well-curated music. But anyways, I love MusicBed. And when I got into partnership with MusicBed, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted, because I use this platform anyways. And so they had a big release a couple of days ago. Now they have Music Bed Sounds, which is a library of different kind of sound effects. So basically on Music Bed, you can also find not only great music, but also great sound effects. And with this occasion, they also gave me a 1 year free subscription to give it to someone. So I decided to give it to my subscribers, of course. And so if you want to win 1 year subscription to Music Bed plus Music Bed Sounds, you have to, the first person who answers it correctly. How many subscribers did I have when I decided to quit my job for YouTube? And that answer you're gonna find it on my channel. So yeah, all the best. And if you can't win this 1 year subscription, then you can just try out Music Bed for 2 weeks for free. You just have to use the link on my video description somewhere. So yeah, have fun. Next question. Oh, this question I really don't understand. I think my intelligence level is not that high. So have you considered the ramifications of infinite potentiality and what that implies to the reactivity of your character? So I double checked exactly what does that mean, and sorry, but your clarification also didn't explain so much. In other words, have you thought about how you would behave in a position of superlative responsibility as encourages sacrifice against intense corruptive pressure? I'm sorry. I can't get into that dimension. Like, I'm sorry. Someday I will, and I will answer this question. How do I start filming, blogging, and what software do I want? For starting, like as a lot of people say, all you need is a camera, which can be your phone literally, and a computer or even your phone. I think you can edit videos quite well on your phone. So basically what you need is what you perhaps already have. I really don't think that you necessarily have to wait till you have enough money to purchase equipment, to purchase a camera, to purchase a software, to be there. I think it's even better to start with less. And this is what I did with camera. I started with very basic camera. I started shooting everything automatic because I had no idea, really. And like getting right away a really good camera, which is everything manual, like, of course, it's also a good step if you can afford it. But if you can't, like, don't worry about it. I think that it's much more important to learn how to speak in front of a camera, to learn how to tell a story, to learn how to light up your scene without even additional buying lights and stuff. How to, maybe a microphone is also a really important thing. Maybe even, of course, it is important to have a good camera, but microphone is also super important. And you don't even have to invest so much money. So exactly, like, start with what you can afford. And maybe don't overdo, because obviously, some people say expensive equipment doesn't make a difference. Of course it does. Sorry, but it does. It's just that if you are starting, then it doesn't really matter, because first you need to learn basic other things like storytelling, talking in front of a camera, finding your style, learning about lighting, about sound, all of these things that are also very difficult to learn and take time. And then step by step, you can learn other things. You can get a good camera, you can get a good microphone, get lights and whatsoever. And when it comes to software, just use this free software. I would say go for DaVinci, because they have like free software that everybody can use, and you can upgrade it to buy it to Pro. But it's not necessary, I think, for the beginner or any other free software. It really doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to buy expensive Adobe Premiere unless you want to go more professionally for collaborations. But I still don't know. Like, honestly, you just need to really want to do it and to just do it. That's it. And the last question is, how do you look so good? Well, I can't really answer this question. Thank you for your compliment. But anyways, guys, I am so delighted that I got these questions from you. And I'm so grateful like to have this connection with you, really. And I can't wait to make other videos in the future. And maybe this summer I haven't done so much. And yeah, summer, it's a time when you enjoy sun, and it's when it's freaking hot and you're sweating the whole time right now. Like right now, and I'm going on vacation soon, and then I'm back, and I'm really excited to do some really cool projects. And yeah, sending you lots of love from Berlin to you, wherever you are, like in this beautiful planet. And thank you for your support all the time. Really, I just feel delighted to have you all in my life. I hope that I wasn't focused really and not too sweaty and shiny and stuff. Oh well, who cares?